I'm Danny Kanell of CBS Sports HQ here breaking down all 40 college football bowl games for the season. Not only winners, but versus the spread as well. And I need the big dogs, Tom Fornelli and Barrett Sallee, to help me out with those. Time to break down the Las Vegas Bowl. Washington takes on Boise State. The Mountain West champion was in the conversation for that New Year's Six Bowl, ended up coming just short as Memphis gets that bid. But they still get an opportunity versus a Pac-12 opponent. Granted, it wasn't a great season for Washington, 7-5, and really the storyline of this one is going to be Chris Petersen stepping down at Washington, facing where he really built up Boise State into the program they are. Going to be a lot of emotions around this one. Washington is a 3.5-point favorite. Tom, can they send off their coach in style here with a big win?
Yeah, I think they will. I look at this Boise State team, and as you mentioned, it was very much in the running for New Year's Six spot. Had Memphis lost to Cincinnati in the American Athletic Conference Championship, it more than likely would have been Boise State going to the Cotton Bowl. But when I look at the Mountain West this year, it is, there's not a bad team in the Mountain West. It's a deep conference this year, which you don't typically see in the group of five. It's just there wasn't really another second team to challenge Boise this year. It was the best team in the conference by far. And I think that going up against Washington, this is probably the best team the Broncos will have faced. Like, they opened the season with Florida State and they won that game, and it seemed like a bigger deal at the time, but we saw the Seminoles kind of struggle through the rest of the season, and I'm not sure how impressive that win really was. Whereas this Washington team, it's a talented team. It has not lived up to the expectations. I thought it was going to win the Pac-12 before the season started, and clearly that did not happen. But I wonder if the Chris Petersen situation maybe played a role in just the inconsistency of the team, if he was wondering if he wanted to continue going. And I think that in his last game, we're going to see a very solid effort. Jacob Eason he had an up and down season at quarterback for the Huskies, but if we go back early in the year in non-conference play, Eason balled out. He was amazing in Washington's non-conference games. He had 10 touchdowns to 1 interception, and I think that we could see that same kind of performance against the Boise State defense. That's good, but I don't consider it great. And if we just look at Washington's history, they're 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 against teams with a winning record, and they're also 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 versus Mountain West opponents, as well as 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 non-conference games overall. So when you look at everything that's going into this game, the storyline of Petersen in his last game against the program that he built, I don't see any way in the world that these Washington players are going to want to do anything but send their coach out with a win, and I think they're going to get that win, and I think they're going to get the cover as well.
I'm with Tom, too. I think Washington gets it done. I think the Chris Petersen angle is a big one. They're going to want to send their coach out with a win. But, Tom touched on the Boise State defense. It's not as great as maybe some other Boise State defenses of the past. And I think that's really important because when you're going out there trying to stop Jacob Eason, I think, is still a very talented quarterback. He has not lived up to his expectations, but he's got dudes outside. Aaron Fuller and Bryant, both of those guys are stars, and they're going to want to show the world that this is what Washington football should be. I mean, Hunter Bryant has 825 yards this year. I don't think people realize how deep and how versatile this team is because they can run the football. But if you can provide that balance, then you're going to be tough to defend. And Boise State's really done nothing, to me anyway, that shows that they can defend a balanced attack like this with a talent disadvantage between them and the team they're facing. So give me Washington. I think they win by about 10. I would definitely lay those points. It should be fun, though. I think this is a really good matchup and a really good fitting way for Chris Petersen to end his Washington career.
I'm with you guys on Washington. Boise State's had quarterback issues, not due to inconsistent play, but due to injuries. Hank Bachmeier, the true freshman, was so impressive early on. He's dealt with some stuff. Chase Cord got some snaps too, and then Jalen Henderson played the majority of their game against Hawaii to win the Mountain West Conference. I'm sure Brian Harson's not going to tell you who's going to start because that's kind of been his MO all season long, as you're kind of kept guessing. I think it's going to be a challenge for them to score points on this Washington State team, so I'm going to lean the under here as well. Plus, Jacob Eason, the NFL talent he's got. Keep an eye on defensive end Curtis Weaver for Boise State. Boise State has been churning out some NFL talent as well. He might be one of the best prospects on the field too. For all those reasons, I'm going to lean towards the under. It is a pretty low total at 49.5. Are you guys have any feel for the total in this game? How about you, Tom?
Yeah, I'm with you on the under. I just don't know how many points Boise State's going to get against a Washington defense that is very good. There's a reason that Jimmy Lake was the guy that they've chosen to take over for Chris Petersen once he does step down, because he's put out some very good defenses. He's churned out a lot of NFL players. He's brought in guys, talented guys, and developed them and made them even better than they were when they came on campus. And I look at this team in this matchup, like you said, with the questions for Boise State at QB and just with Washington's advantage pretty much everywhere on the defensive side of the ball, I don't see too many points being scored by Boise. So I think that the under is the smarter play, and that also helps, again, push towards laying the points with Washington.
Yeah, I'm on the under as well. I think Washington will, they'll jump out to a big lead. I think Jacob Eason will want to show NFL scouts that he does have what it takes before he makes a decision whether he comes back or not. But in the end, I mean, when you have Salvon Ahmed and that offensive line, you're going to run the football too. So to me, it feels like it's going to be one of those games where Washington kind of uglies it up late, drains the clock, gets out of there with the win, gets out of there with the cover in a rather low-scoring slugfest between two teams that kind of like to play that way.
Should be emotional for sure. Chris Peterson's had an incredible career as a head coach at Boise State and finishing it off at Washington. We're all in agreement. He should be sent off in style. The Las Vegas Bowl, Washington laying 3.5 versus 19th ranked Boise State, takes place Saturday, December 21st at 7:30 p.m.